Welcome to The Queen's Lair, a lifestyle podcast. Get inspired by our latest tips and information about small business, entrepreneurship, natural hair, travel, food, and even relationships. Stay tuned for another great episode. I am your host, Renee Patrice. Welcome back to my podcast, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. There was a saying back in the day, if you guys remember Blockbuster Video, where we used to physically go into a store and it was like a library for VHS tapes. And I know it's so weird to me that some people listening to this podcast will not even know what I'm talking about, which is just crazy to me. But if you remember VCRs, I know people don't see them very often, or they say, oh, my parents had one in the basement, But we used to have to go. There was no Netflix. There was no Hulu. There was none of these streaming services. Kev on Stage Studios. There was, and I'm mentioning them because I'm a Patreon member. I'm part of the stage crew. So I have to give a special shout out to these streaming services. Well, they didn't exist back then. Back then, you had to go to Blockbuster and rent videos. Just like when you go to the library and you borrow books, it was the same concept. And that was like a Friday night thing. People would start coming in from Friday afternoon. It was a really popular time. Friday afternoon to Friday evening. You grab 2 or 3 movies to rent. And then you get your pizza from Pizza Hut or whatever. Or the Chinese food from the local Chinese shop, and or chicken wings from the local chicken wing spot, whatever. But if you're from New York, the Chinese food spot got the chicken wings, like for real. If you know, you know. But anyway, there used to be this little saying on all of the containers that had the tapes in them, and it used to say, "Be kind, rewind." And I thought about that, and it's so odd, but I thought about that saying the other day. That sometimes, in this world that we're living in right now, it is so disheartening to see how unkind people have been to each other. Now that we're going through a recession, it has become even more. People have less tolerance, I think, than I've ever seen. People do not have the patience. We didn't have patience before. We were lacking patience and kindness before. But I felt like more in the minority, But it seems like more and more, hopefully we'll never reach the majority, that we have this unkind word. We don't think in the positive up front. We go to the negative first because it's so easy to slide into negative thinking and negative speaking and negative emotions and that sort of thing. So I thought about that "be kind, rewind" because it really reminds you that there's a cause and effect for everything. The whole point of that saying was that think about the next person who is going to watch that video. Think about the next person who's going to rent that same movie. Rewind the tape. After you watch it, just click rewind, so that the next person doesn't have to deal with that. and honestly can even make less work for the workers, And I'll be honest with you, I don't know if it was, I don't know anybody who may have worked for Blockbuster Video, but I don't know if it was part of their job to rewind all of the tapes when they came back from being rented. I don't remember if that was part of their job. But putting that little sticker, little happy face sticker on there saying "Be Kind, Rewind," I would think help them. It just jogged people's memories to remember. Rewind the tape. Thinking of the next person. And I think that's a lot of stuff that, we don't do anymore. We don't think of the next person. We don't pay it forward the way we used to. And we can see it every day in the news, just people just being very disgruntled and downright evil to each other, And so, I don't know, it bugs me. But I thought about that saying, I'm like, we're not paying it forward anymore. We're not thinking about other people the way that we used to. And I know people are like, well, I got to look out for myself. Yeah, but we used to look out for each other, our fellow man, our fellow human, way more than we do now. And we need to get back to that. Because like I said, everything is cause and effect. If you are doing something in your community that's negative, it affects the whole community. You have to think twice before you do things. You have to think twice before you fly off the handle. Because everything affects something. But I just thought about that saying and I thought, that's such a simple saying, but it has a deeper meaning. And I just wanted to share that thought process with you guys. So hopefully you guys are faring well through this recession. I definitely see the difference in pricing just for everyday items, your everyday toiletries and groceries and things like that. There's a major, major difference. So hopefully you guys are weathering this storm. Recessions don't last forever. I've probably been through, I don't know, maybe this is my third recession in my lifetime that I remember very distinctly where, pricing was seriously affected. This is probably the third one. I remember one from like high school, then another one back in maybe the earlier 2000s, and here we are again. So hopefully you guys are, taking the time out to be a little bit more kind to each other, especially during this time where it's really tough. Maybe there's collabs that you can do with people. If you know that folks are great at something and they can, get some sort of job or position, refer people, think about the next person, and refer them. I always appreciate when people refer my business. I was just referred recently, which was just absolutely wonderful. And it came at the right time, So definitely keep each other in mind and be kind. Think about that saying. It's so simple. It's so simple, but it has such a deeper meaning. Just think about other people just as much as you think about yourself, And we're gonna get through this. Pandemic is still here. We're dealing with all these other variants and these other viruses and things. But stay safe. Keep your family close. Pray about it. And we should be good. But definitely keep in your spirit being more kind, because it's almost like it's popular to be mean these days, and that's not cool. All right, you guys, just some thoughts. Like, share, subscribe to this podcast. If this is your first time listening, Thank you so much for finding me. However you did, there are over 400 episodes. You will not get bored. Trust me when I tell you. If you want to connect with me over on Instagram at Onyx Queen Media. Talk to you tomorrow, you guys. Bye. Online savings simplified. Don't search for coupon codes ever again. With one click, Honey's smart shopping assistant will automatically apply discounts to your cart in seconds. Save on all your favorite things. Easily pay less for products you're already buying online. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Join Honey for free. It takes 2 clicks to add Honey to your Chrome, Safari, Firefox, or Opera browser. Find savings in seconds. While you shop, Honey will find working promo codes across the entire internet, and you save instantly. With one click, Honey will apply the best deals to your cart. It's that easy. So what are you waiting for? Get Honey. Download it today. Visit our link, www.tinyurl.com/ONYXHONEY. That's www.tinyurl.com/Onyx Honey. Start saving right now.